Good morning. My name is Claudia Rinaldi, and I am the project director for the Pathways to Teacher Diversity here at LaSalle University. With me, I have two guest speakers today. One is Edna Barreto, who is the project coordinator for the LaSalle Pathways to Teacher Diversity. And we have here a wonderful sophomore student, Jazmine Stephens, who is majoring in early childhood education here at LaSalle. Today's topic is what considerations you should have as you apply to college. What should you think about? What are some ideas that Jazmine had as she was going through the process? And now that she's 2 years in, she could share what she would have liked to have known when she was making a decision, and maybe how she feels about her decision about coming to a small private institution near where she went to school. So good morning to both of you. And Jazmine, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so again, hi, my name is Jazmine. I'm originally from Randolph, Mass. I am West Indian American, and like Professor Rinaldi said, I am an early childhood education major. I made my decision to do education, I think, junior year of high school. So it's like you don't have to come to college knowing what you're gonna do. But luckily, I had some idea of what I wanted to do before I started college. Um, and I've always wanted to do like the small school vibe. So that's kind of one of the things that I was really looking for on my college search.
Great, Jazmine. That is true. I wish I would have known that there were small colleges and large colleges, because I went to a large college, and now working at a small college, I'm like, I really would have liked a small college feel. Not only because you could be a big fish in the little pond, but you get a lot of support and the community is much tighter. Have you found that at LaSalle as a small campus, that it is a tighter community and that it has a lot more support?
I have found that um, it's a lot easier than it would be at like a bigger college to get into contact with professors, or like because professors will have more office hours, which you could possibly always attend because there's not a lot of people on campus to begin with. So it's not like you'll have to wait for like 100 students during their office hours to be finished with what they need to talk to them about, and then be like, oh, office hours are over. Um, and then also, it's very easy to find like your people on campus. You kind of see the same people every day, um, especially because you're following a certain schedule every semester. So the people that you see during that semester are the people you're going to see that whole semester, unless there are like small changes. Um, like this year, I joined the e-board for LaSalle's Black Student Association.
Mhm.
And I'm also part of MSU. So those are two very like, if you're a diverse student on campus, like you can join. There's also her campus, LaSalle. And there's also, I believe there's um, a gay straight alliance. I'm not sure the name that we have here on campus. So it's really easy, like through clubs mostly, to like find your people on campus. And you're gonna see them around often since it is a small school.
Yeah, that's really great insight, that maybe you should look at what kind of clubs they have on campus. Class size is another one I think you're kind of mentioning. You don't have to compete with many students to see your professors because the class sizes are small. So typically in small colleges you have maybe as class size of maybe anywhere between 10 and 25 maximum, whereas in some larger campuses you could be in a big lecture hall with 100, 200 people. I've taught those classes in other institutions, so it definitely does make for giving access to professors much easier. What kind of help did you get in high school, Jazmine, since you kind of had an idea you wanted to be a teacher, go into education? Was there anybody that helped you along the way, or any kind of ideas you could give to students who are considering becoming teachers?
Yeah. So for me, originally I wanted to be an event management major.
Mhm.
Um, because I like my mom puts on a lot of events and like seeing the stuff that she does, like I find that kind of fun, but realized it wasn't really for me as like a lifelong career. um, so I was talking with the Spanish teacher at my high school. This is before COVID and everything. So it was during, she had to take over for our French class.
Ew.
So I was talking to her. There's only like three students in our class because of that. Um, and she was asking me, like, it's junior year, people are starting to apply for colleges and stuff like that, writing their essays. And she's like, do you know what your major is going to be? And I was like, I have no idea. So we kind of just went down a list of things that I like. And she pulled up a website based and was typing in stuff based off like what I like to do. And I was like, okay, I like working with kids. Like most of my past jobs have been like working at summer camps and stuff like that. And she was like, would you consider being a teacher? And I was like, I never thought of that before.
Hmm.
And then I kind of just took on interest from there.
Wow. So talking with somebody was really key, somebody that you could kind of relate to. In this case, your Spanish teacher was really great.
Right.
And kind of I liked where your eyes went when she said, have you thought about being a teacher? And you're like, oh, I never really considered that. And then you were able to think about it. So yeah, having conversations with your guidance counselors or teachers or parent or friends, and kind of begin to see yourself in that role, it's a really great start, right? So that's really beautiful. So now you're 2 years in, a year and a half in, you're in the spring semester, so you'll be done with 2 years.
Yeah,
And that is crazy, right? It does go fast. Even
it
though you begin
does.
to like, oh, I have 4 years, but before you know it, you're at the end of your second year, which means you're halfway through. So what is one thing that you've loved so far about studying to be a teacher?
So at LaSalle specifically, I'm not sure about like how they do it at other schools, but they kind of start us right away with our pre-practicum. So sadly, because of COVID, I wasn't able to start in freshman year, how we were supposed to, but I was able to start this year. And last semester, I was in a second grade classroom once a week, and now I'm in a pre-K classroom once a week. So just kind of seeing like how actual school classrooms run, not just going off of knowledge that I have from being in second grade, um, and how much different it is now than how it was when I was a child. So,
Yeah, so you kind of get to kind of see it from a different perspective, the perspective of the teacher and what they do, right? And it
right.
would be hard to kind of go back and think about second grade, like what it was like. I mean, I have
Yeah.
very little memories of it. So
I
yeah, so
really don't remember my second grade year, so that's
I, I think the first year I remember was third grade, although I do remember first grade doing some art project. I don't know why exactly I remember that. Maybe I liked it a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think in college you start going into classrooms to see good practices and maybe not so good practices, but it kind of starts getting you to think about whether you really love the field and working with children.
I think that what Jasmine said is very important in terms of like how in a small college you can have the opportunity to actually start from the beginning, from your first semester to experience in real life what you're studying can be applied in a classroom. Like in your case, you're a pre-K teacher, like an early childhood education teacher. So you have had the opportunity to be in a second grade classroom already, and now in a pre-K classroom. And maybe next semester you'll be able to be in a first grade classroom. And I believe that the advantages of being in a small college is that you know that your professors are going to help you get there and have that experience compared to probably in a bigger college where you have to wait until the pretty much last year And I found that sometimes when you wait until the last year and you get to the real world and the real exposure, you've spent 3 years of your life studying, and then you get to the, okay, this is it. And then it hits you and you're like, oh, this is
I
it.
don't really like this.
This is not what I wanted to do. This is not what I want. So then you look back and you're like, so did I waste all that time? So I feel like this is very important. Like, it was key that you were able to share with us that specific part of, like, from the very beginning, when I decided to study this, I was going through and I had the real experience right from the start. So I know that this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, Jazmine, thank you so much for sharing that real incredible knowledge and experience that you bring so that we could help other high school students, know what you thought about and what it's like to be now 2 years in. And I think it'll be really helpful, and we'll be sharing it with our partner schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
Jasmine.
right. You're welcome.